There are 3 CEO archetypes, and every single brand, business, celebrity fits into one of these 3. Some of you are visionaries. You think like Lady Gaga, Stephen Bartlett, Beyonce, even Apple. You guys are future focused. You see the world and you see your business and your brand in the big picture. But some of you are more storytellers. You operate like Taylor Swift, Aimee, Emma Chamberlain, and even Disney. You guys are emotion-led. You guys are great at telling stories and connecting with people. And some of you are builders. I'm talking about Vanessa Lau, Grace Beverly. You guys thrive in structure, systems, and routine. And here's the plot twist that I don't think many of us realize. Your business only grows when you are in alignment with your archetype. When a storyteller is trying to fit in the same box as a builder, or when a builder tries to show up as a visionary, this is you trying to fit into a box that you don't actually fit in. So in this video, I'm going to help you figure that out. We're going to figure out what archetype you are, the By Kayleigh style, how your archetype actually grows and actually thrives, the mistakes that your archetype is currently making. And if you have missed a few celebrity metaphors, this is going to be a good one. Okay, bestie, now before we figure out what brand archetype you are, I need to break down the 3 business baddie personality types that exist in the online world. Here is a quick overview, a little teaser of them one by one before we do a deep dive. Now, archetype number 1 is the visionary. This person right here is the future architect. This person loves a 5 to 10 to 20 year plan. They are strategic, they are creative, and they are people that are redefining their industry. This is the person that will see an opportunity or a gap in the market before anyone else. Visionaries, I believe, count for maybe like 1 to 5% of the population, because these are people that bulldoze into an industry and change it forever. One of the biggest examples of a visionary was Steve Jobs. He has literally changed the landscape of tech. When it comes to celebrities for this one, I cannot think of a bigger visionary than Lady Gaga. I believe truly Gaga has been decades ahead when it comes to her music. She released that album called Art Pop, which was known as Art Flop to many fans. But this album, if this album was released now, it would be a #1 hit. Her albums have always been just so far ahead of her time. When it comes to household names and brands, I think the most obvious examples of this are Apple and Disney, with Steve Jobs and Walt Disney. These are 2 people who were all about vision, innovation, and the future. The ideas that they brought to the table, people thought they were insane for those ideas, but those ideas changed the landscape of their industries. Walt Disney changed media. Steve Jobs changed technology. Sometimes their ideas are not taken seriously because their dreams seem bigger than life itself. Now, next up, we have archetype 2, which is the storyteller. These are the people that want to make you feel something. They are emotionally led. They are story first. And they are very, very, very identity coded. People do not follow storytellers because of what they post. They follow them because of who they are, because they connect with them on a really, really deep rooted level. This is the person who you will see them, they will stand out so clearly to you. They will be able to build community effortlessly. They are very, very relatable, and they are building alongside you, because when they share their story, it also becomes your story. For the likes of this, I always think Aimee is such a storyteller. If you do not know who Aimee is, she is the founder of the clothing brand called Odd Muse. And she has shown the building of that brand from the day she concepted it. Every single win, every single loss, every single thing has been documented over on TikTok, over on YouTube, literally everywhere that Aimee is, she's talking about Odd Muse and documenting and storytelling Odd Muse. Celebrities like Taylor Swift, Lana Del Rey, Sabrina Carpenter are such peak celebrity storytellers. They are letting you in behind the curtain of their lives. And their albums, they feel like delicate peeks into the most raw, vulnerable parts of their life. Storytellers are able to do that so effortlessly. If this is you, people follow you, people buy from you because they resonate with you so deeply. Now, finally, we have archetype 3, which are the builders. These are the operators. These are the execution queens. These are your most consistent brands and businesses out there. All about systems, consistency, discipline. They are going to be the most consistent people that you know. Another great example of a builder is, I think, Grace Beverly. She is the productivity queen for goodness sake. She has like 3, 4, I don't even know, 5 businesses at this point. She has a podcast, a YouTube channel, very, very type A. And I know you guys remember, she doesn't really do this so much anymore, but if you're a Grace Beverley fan, I'm sure you remember the days where she would post her calendar and every single hour had a time block. But you will notice, you will see, she is very much a builder. To me, when I think of a builder that is a celebrity, I think of Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian, whether you love her or you hate her, she has an insane work ethic. Output upon output upon output upon output. Very, very disciplined, very, very consistent, very, very much a builder. If this is you, you are the girl that likes to get shit done. You are the hardest worker in the room. You cannot be outworked and you are a force to be reckoned with. Now here's the thing, all 3 archetypes are so powerful. And you might have been listening to me just then and thought, Kayleigh, I'm actually 1 or 2 of these archetypes, and that is true too. You can definitely cross over into a couple of these. But the magic truly happens when you own your archetype. And here's another thing, all 3 have weaknesses. All 3 of these archetypes build brands and businesses completely differently. And I think once you know which one you are, you know why certain strategies before just haven't worked for you. Why sometimes you seem to fall off when everyone else is doing fine. Why some creators grow faster than you and you are doing the same thing as them or having more output than them. But the main thing that I want you guys to take away from this is how you should build your business and your brand in 2026. So now we've met your characters, let's figure out which one you are. It's time for a cheeky quiz. Now what I want you guys to do is to grab a pen, a paper, your iPhone, whatever you need, something for you to write these answers down. And I want you to answer these questions as quickly and as honestly as possible. Use your gut instinct, and wherever your gut instinct takes you first, that is the answer. And I want you to just write down A, B, or C, and we're gonna tally up those A, Bs, and Cs. Okay, when you are feeling overwhelmed in your business, what do you do? A, do you dream up a brand new idea? B, do you talk it out and write a big old emotional brain dump? Or C, do you make a plan and reorganize your systems? Question number 2, your best content comes from A, big ideas or strong opinions. B, personal stories and emotional moments. Or C, routines, tutorials, or step-by-steps. Okay, number 3, your ideal workday looks like A, vision boarding, planning, brainstorming, and creating. B, filming quick storytelling content, grabbing your iPhone, filming something to camera, and connecting with your audience. Or C, deep work, batching, time blocking. Okay, number 4, people love you because A, you always have a fresh, never seen before idea. B, you make them feel seen. Or C, you are reliable, consistent, and insanely helpful. Okay, number 5, the thing that you struggle with the most is A, finishing things before moving on to the next. B, staying structured. Or C, showing personality and being creative. Number 6, you thrive when you're A, creating something new. B, expressing yourself. Or C, following your routine. Number 7, your creative process is A, chaotic genius, totally unplanned. B, vibes and intuition. Or C, very, very planned, very, very organized, very, very structured. Number 8, if your friends had to describe your online vibe, what would they say? A, CEO, magical, big brain. B, aesthetic, emotional, relatable. Or C, organized, efficient, educational. Number 9, you get inspired by world-changing ideas, identity shifts, reinventing yourself. B, cinema, music, feelings. Or C, productivity, providing value. Your biggest secret dream is A, to build an empire. B, to build a community. Or C, to build a well-oiled business. Now what I want you to do is tally up those numbers. How many A's did you get? How many B's did you get? And how many C's did you get? Because whatever one you have the most of, that is your archetype. If you got mostly A's, you are a visionary. If you got mostly B's, you are a storyteller. And if you got mostly C's, you are a builder. If you got a real even mix, you might be split between 2. Now what I want to do is get into each of these archetypes really, really in depth. and figure out what this means and how you can use it. We don't just want to do this personality test and you walk away and never think about it again. We actually want to implement this so that you can work smarter, so you can work more with your body and who you naturally are. So let's start with archetype 1, the visionary. And let me tell you, visionaries are so powerful. These are the people that walk into an industry or a niche or a space and they see how they can do it better. If you got this one, you are probably the type of person that walks into a business and makes an internal checklist in your brain of all the things that you would change to make it better. And here is the thing with visionaries, they are probably going to be like 5, maybe max 10% of people that would do this quiz will be visionaries. Because visionaries, they are not just changing a business, they are changing the world. They are changing the entire game. These are the people that will walk into an industry or a niche and will tear it to shreds to the point where it will never be the same again. You guys, if you got a visionary, you are a disruptor through and through. Let me show you some of your fellow disruptors. In the creator space, I would definitely say that Wisdom K is a through and through visionary. In fact, I'm not going to tell you about him. I'm going to show you one of his iconic outfit videos right here. These are kind of like his outfit of the days, or he will take a brand or a film and he will create an entire lookbook from his own wardrobe based around that theme, that film, that whatever somebody has challenged him to do. He has taken the classic outfit check, classic fashion content, and he has merged it with fucking cinematography and editing. To me, Wisdom should have won an Instagram ring, but anyway, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. He is the perfect example of a creator that bulldozed into the space with new energy, with new creativity, and has redefined it, has raised the bar, has raised the standard of what fashion content looks like. Another one I feel is Stephen Bartlett. I'm not sure if you guys watch Behind the Diary. If you're a fan of The Diary of a CEO, Behind the Diary is kind of like their YouTube vlogs. And I'm just going to put this clip right here about what Stephen Bartlett said about AI and podcasting.
I really believe that in X number of years, about 50% of the content on Spotify will be purely AI content. That is because they do courses, they do audiobooks, they do podcasts, they do music. I especially believe, especially as it relates to podcasting, information-centric podcasting, there's very little reason why AI content won't win out. So with an AI podcast, it's like, how do we solve for the video part? Anyway, TLDR, we started experiments here with our experimentation team and a separate team that I call Flight X, which is my little special projects team, who are trying to kill the main business. So their job is to disrupt the main business. Because if you don't disrupt yourself, then someone else is gonna. That's what history tells us. They call it the innovator's dilemma. So their job has been to build AI podcasts that are better received, better retaining in terms of retention than our current shows.
Stephen is an excellent example of a visionary, in my opinion. You might disagree, but to me, it really takes a visionary to assess the media, the podcasting space, and want to put himself out of business, to put himself out of a job, to innovate, to disrupt the damn space. He might not be coming at it from a creative angle like Wisdom is, but he is out here redefining what podcasting and what media is going to look like in the future. Whether you love it or whether you absolutely loathe the idea of it like I do, you have to admit he is doing something that nobody else is doing. He's attempting to change the industry, to change the space, to change the way podcasting works forever. Visionaries are not the type of creators or people that will follow trends or will follow what everybody else is doing. They create the lane that everyone else copies. Now, if we look at some visionary celebrities, there are 3 that I have in mind. The most obvious one is Lady Gaga. To me, if you go and listen to Art Pop, if that was released today, it would do so well. When Lady Gaga releases albums, they are so ahead of their time. I truly believe Gaga is operating a decade ahead of everyone else. From the way that she redefines herself, her fashion, the way her music sounds, her staging, she is constantly ahead of the game, or she is constantly trying to do things that will change the way the space works forever. I think another brilliant example of a visionary is none other than Queen Beyonce. Beyonce shifts culture with every single release, with every single album release, with every single thing that she touches. It changes the landscape. If you think back to some of Beyonce's earliest music videos, I'm talking Sweet Dreams, even Single Ladies, these were all so different in that era. They were so different to anything else that everyone was putting out. Beyonce is one of those artists that reshapes music. I think other artists that are also amazing visionaries are Pharrell Williams, especially his influence in fashion, Tyler the Creator, Kendrick Lamar even a little bit. These are all visionaries. They don't adapt to the industry. They do not follow where the industry is going. It's very much the industry adapts to me energy. So if you got the visionary archetype, well, congratulations. I'm very, very excited for what you are going to redefine and redevelop and reinvent in the future. But here are some ways that you might get stuck. Visionaries often have too many ideas. And what happens is they will move on to the next idea before they have finished or fully executed the idea that they're on. They have not spent enough time on this thing right here. They have not been consistent enough with this before they have moved on to that. What visionaries often do as well, especially if they're in the early stages of their career and they don't have enough resources or support yet, is they will reinvent themselves too much, too often, so that nobody really gets to know them yet. What happens with visionaries if they often start really, really strong, but then they get bored and they move on? And what that causes is a lot of inconsistency. These are people that are often paralyzed by perfection, and they burn out constantly from chasing the next big idea, the next big thing. So if you are a visionary and you really, really want to own who you are in 2026 and make it the best damn year possible, here is what I would recommend. Consider this your visionary growth path. Now, the first thing that I would recommend is simplicity. You need to pick one thing, one business idea, one single goal. And I know that's going to be very, very hard because the next shiny thing syndrome is very, very real. But when you are stretched, take it from me because I'm somebody who has stretched myself out too thin too many times. But when you are stretched across multiple different things without a team, without a support network, you will never be able to give your 100% to all of those things. And it is very, very much a case of jack of all trades, master of none. You will never dominate and have success with one thing if you are stretched out across multiple ideas. Learn to dominate just one thing and then move on to the next when this thing over here is well supported, when there is a team taking care of that, when it is good and running without you. So pick your one thing. And the next thing that I want you guys to do is to map out the next 1 to 2 years of that one thing. Visionaries thrive when they can see the long game, the long picture. So what I want you to do is I want you to sit down and map out your 2026 month by damn month, your launches, the projects that you want to do, the people that you want to work with, the reputation that you want to build. Really sit down and map out your 2026 and get crystal clear on what success would look like for you. What do you want to achieve? And if you're a visionary, put it in the comments below because I really want to hear. Now, the third thing that I would advise is for you guys to get on a long form platform of some sort. YouTube, podcasting, somewhere where your ideas have space to breathe. Liz, take it from me. I'm a long form girly and I really, really struggled with the box that short form content put me in. Visionaries need space. They need minutes to allow their ideas and their creativity to flow. So I would pick one short form platform and definitely one long form platform. And then the fourth and final thing that I would advise for a visionary is to get a builder on your team. This might be more of a longer term plan because I know I have a lot of solopreneurs on this channel. I have a lot of people who are DIYing it, doing it themselves. Now, this right here might be a longer term plan of yours, but please know this. Visionaries scale the fastest when they are paired with a builder, an operator who grounds the dream. Okay, bestie, now if you got mainly B's, you are a storyteller. And storyteller girlies, you're the heart and soul of the online space. You are someone's comfort person. You're the person that people follow because they feel like they know you, because you make people feel real human emotions. And your power doesn't lie in strategy. Your power lies in connection and connecting with people. Your presence makes people feel seen, heard, valued, understood in a time and a place and a world that can feel quite lonely sometimes. As I mentioned earlier, and I want to deep dive into this one a little bit more, one of the best storytellers I think in the online space right now is the founder of Odd Muse, Aimee Smalley. Aimee is the founder of Odd Muse, a UK-based fashion brand that has literally taken the world by storm. They now have stores in New York. I believe they have 2 stores in London. And Aimee herself is only 26 years old, and she is the founder of a brand worth 30 million. And one of the ways that I think she has done this as a 26-year-old is with her storytelling. The way that she has built her brand, has built Odd Muse so publicly. If you head on over to the Odd Muse TikTok and scroll back far enough, you will literally find the entire brand story public for everyone to watch. She has TikToks that literally show her walking into her factory in China, meeting her suppliers. She shows the very, very public wins and the very, very public losses. People connect with that because Aimee is real. She is a real founder. I mean real and raw. Take a look at this clip.
In my 5 years of running Odd Muse, I don't think I have ever felt so unlike myself. God, I'm just really struggling lately. God, it is written nowhere how hard it is. I can't even describe how anxious I feel, like, about leaving the house in general.
But I truly believe it is Aimee showing her heart, literally wearing her heart on her sleeve, which has enabled millions to connect and ultimately buy from her brand. People connect not to perfection. I think this is where a lot of influencer brands really, really struggle, is because what you see is this perfectly polished, perfectly curated influencer. Not a hair out of place, never had a loss in their life. What you are really seeing is this perfectly curated picture. But that's not real. Real people have real problems. Real people have real emotions. And when you see Aimee showing hers, that enables a real human level of connection. And that can't be bought. No email marketing campaign can give you that. The only thing that can give you that is a storyteller. Now, of course, it would not be a By Kayleigh video if I did not mention one of the biggest storytellers in the celebrity space. Of course, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is a classic storyteller. The reason Taylor, and I've mentioned this before, the reason Taylor has such a low-key, crazy fan base, by the way, that is me, I am Swiftie, it is because she has story told her entire life since she was practically 16. Every relationship breakdown, every big city move, every very, very public loss has been story told with every album that she has released. And people resonate with that. I resonated with that. And the reason that I resonated with that is because she was telling my story in a way that I couldn't even articulate. She is able to articulate experiences and feelings into words we're not able to articulate in our own thoughts. And that is peak storytelling. Speaking of Taylor Swift, welcome back to the Eras Tour Kayleighs version. This is a little 12-part series that I'm doing over here on YouTube, where every single week I take an iconic Taylor Swift era or album and I give it a branding, a business, or a content creation spin. This week, welcome to the folklore era. And folklore is considered some of her best work. And don't kill me, don't hate me, but this album is an easy skip for me. I'm just too much of a pop girly through and through. Listen, I can appreciate the storytelling though. And those Bon Iver collabs are just kiss, kiss, kiss. But if you didn't know this, here is a little fun fact. Folklore is actually one of the only albums that is not inspired by Taylor Swift's life. This was an album that was concepted and released in the depths of COVID. And it has a set of characters and story arcs that are completely fictional. The album actually surrounds three main characters: Betty, August or Augustine, and James. And in Folklore, Taylor built an entire world around these three characters. So I pulled from that in today's training and I created our three characters: the visionary, the builder, and the storyteller. This is your Folklore era and I hope that you're enjoying it so far. If we come back to iconic storytellers, I would be remiss if I didn't mention some brands that I think are doing this so well. Disney, as I mentioned earlier, I truly believe Walt Disney himself was a visionary, but Disney in 2025 and 2026, I think very much sits in the storyteller. I don't really think they are innovating the media space right now, but they do market using feelings and nostalgia and storytelling. If you think of the Disney parks, these parks have people coming, like spending thousands, coming back to them year on year because of the way the parks make them feel. Storytelling brands, they don't just market, they create a feeling of nostalgia, of comfort, of home. So if you are a storyteller, I guarantee that the way that you market is using emotion and instinct. Your content comes from either your personality or your personal stories. You are probably deeply connected to your community or brilliant at building community. Thrive when you're inspired, but you don't work well inside rigid systems. And your creativity is very much tied to your feelings, which means sometimes storytellers fall into a bit of inconsistency. consistency, because their posting or their content or their brand relies so much on emotion. This can create a little bit of a lack of structure. I also find there are some storytellers out there that can definitely overshare. I believe there is a real mark here. Over here you're relatable, and over here you are definitely trauma dumping. I also think storytellers out of all three archetypes struggle the most to monetize or make money from their brand. So this is what I would advise for my storytellers in 2026. Number one, it goes without saying, I need you guys to build a signature series. I think this is going to be one of the main ways that you guys are going to connect with your audience. It is a repeatable format that becomes your content anchor. And what this is going to give you guys is something that will allow you to connect, but also be consistent. What you guys need is one place, one priority, one thing, and I think a signature series can really play into that. Second thing that I think you guys need is a very strong personal brand that you can lean on, especially brand pillars or just some creative boundaries, not to restrict you, but to help you create storytelling content or just to create content in general that has a bit of clarity. So I think working on your personal brand and just getting your content pillars so clearly defined is really going to help you create some creative structure. The thing that I think storytellers need more than anyone is creative boundaries, and that might sound really scary, but I truly believe creativity thrives when there are boundaries in place. As I mentioned earlier as well, personal brand is going to be everything. I believe truly for all archetypes they should be investing in their personal brand in 2026. So if you need a little bit of help with that, I will leave you this video right here. And the final thing, when you are ready to scale, and only when you are ready to scale, I would eventually pair up with a builder or a visionary. As I mentioned earlier, for storytellers, they are definitely the archetype that struggled the most with monetization. So if you are trying to make money from your brand or your business, only explode when you have support with structure or support with direction. Either one of those archetypes can help you with that. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later on with the Aimee Smiley example in just a bit. Okay, let's talk about the final archetype. If you got mostly C's, you, my friend, are a builder. Builders are the backbone of the online space. You might have thought, oh wait, these answers, they're a little bit boring. I like structure, I like routine. Girl, you're consistent, you're grounded, your discipline is insane. Your discipline is something the other archetypes want. Builders are the ones that achieve their goals, they achieve their dreams. And if you need some creator examples for this, I believe Grace Beverly is a builder to a T. She's the productivity queen. She literally has a journal called like the productivity journal. Her head is buried in 3 or 4 or 5 at this point businesses. And you would see her output, absolutely crazy. She is type A to a T. In terms of celebrities, I definitely think Taylor branches into builder a little bit more. I mean, ask yourself, when was the last time Taylor Swift had a break? The Eras Tour itself is the biggest example of overachieving eldest daughter energy that I have ever seen. But I also think Kim Kardashian is another brilliant example of a builder. She has machine level discipline. Kim Kardashian makes very calculated business decisions. She puts her energy in all the right places, and yes, even though she probably has a billion assistants, you have to admit her output is absolutely insane. She has multiple businesses, she's doing an entire law degree, and now she is taking a forte into acting. Not only that, she's an ambassador for like 1 million fashion brands. Kim K is everywhere, because she's a builder. And if you are a builder, you're a person that loves structure, you love routine, you love physically checking things off of your Asana and seeing that little stupid narwhal go across the screen. You prefer action to talking, you prefer action to overthinking. You get dopamine from checking things off your to-do list. You have no problem showing up every single day. Consistency is never an issue to a builder. Here are some things that builders do struggle with. Overworking, because they are so focused on the mission, they are so consistent that they never really switch off. I think builders sometimes struggle to sit in their creative energy or showing a little bit of personality online because they are so focused. What this results in is feeling too boring online or struggling to connect with your audience, struggling to show your face, and lacking the emotional side to your business, lacking the storytelling, and generally just lacking creativity overall. Your superpower is your discipline, but discipline without emotion means that you really struggle to connect online, or you're invisible online. So here is how I recommend my builders grow in 2026. First thing that I think a builder needs is a personal brand. A personal brand is going to give you, guess what? a personality, and that is something that I think builders really, really need, especially to stand out in the online space. I think every archetype is going to need a personal brand, but visionaries, that is something they're going to be able to tap into really, really easily. Builders, on the other hand, you're going to want to go and watch that video. The second thing is to learn a few storytelling basics, leaning into and fully leaning into the emotional, more feminine side of your business. Observing and not copying, but really, really learning from natural storytellers and learning to pull some of that into your brand in a way that, yeah, it's going to feel uncomfortable, but magic does not grow in the comfort zone. The third thing that builders are going to need is creative rituals. Giving yourself space to tap into your creativity, which is there. Builders have it, just don't know how to tap into it. So giving yourself a day in your week or a time block in your week where your job is simply to just be creative will serve you really, really well. What I really think they need is a visionary to help them scale when they are ready. Builders scale the fastest when they are paired up with somebody who can take over the creative side, somebody who thinks bigger than them and the box that they sometimes box themselves in, and somebody who has the foresight and the thinking to push the direction just a little bit further. Okay, bestie, and because we are talking about how you operate as a CEO, I need to talk about something that all three archetypes, my visionaries, my storytellers, and especially my builders are going to love this one, you all need. What you need is to organize that money that you're going to be making in 2026. Which brings me to the sponsor of today's video, which is Xero Accounting. Xero is a tool that automates the money and the accounting side of your business. Because I know you guys are not doing that. Are you doing it? Or are you waiting for tax season to come around and getting in a fluster trying to find all your receipts? That's what I thought. Or put quite simply, guys, do you want to earn more money next year? Let me show you how. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pair your Xero app with your bank account. I've actually paired mine with both my business and my personal to try and rein in my spending. But what you then do when it is connected is you will go through every single business transaction that you make and you will allocate it a category. For example, you can see here that this is a website related expense. So I will put that under the website and tech related expenses. You do this for every single transaction that is coming in and going out of your bank account, and Xero collates that data so you can see clear as day exactly how much money you are spending in your business. This is so useful to me because, let me say, my subscriptions could be better. And you're probably wondering, Kayleigh, how does that earn me more money? By having visibility on the money side of your business, you earn more. You don't earn more by having your head in the sand. Earn more by taking control of your finances. One thing I really, really like is the profit and loss statement. I used to get so confused with profit and loss statements, but literally in 2 clicks, I can see whether I'm in a profit or a loss. And this is so much easier than me manually filling in my spreadsheets every month, because let me tell you, I didn't do it. Do you want to see my spreadsheet? Do you want to see it? What the heck is that anyway? If you have a business or business expenses, this is such a worthwhile and small investment that you can make. It will set you up for the new year so nicely. Honestly, I'm kicking myself that I was this stubborn for so long and didn't automate this side of things. I will leave my link in the description box below where you can get 90% off for 6 months at the time of making this video, but they do also have a wonderful free trial, which is literally how I got turned on to Xero. I want to say a big thank you to Xero for sponsoring this video and the remainder of the Errors tour. I'm so grateful for them and for you guys who have championed this series and have championed the fact that I somehow now have brand partners. It just really is amazing, and I can't thank you guys enough. So how the bloody hell does knowing all of this, knowing your archetypes, actually benefit you? Because I'm sure, like me, you've done personality quizzes before online and been like, yeah, that was cool, but how did it actually change my life? But for me, just knowing my archetype has enabled me to see the holes in my business, the parts that I'm naturally not good at, and the things that I'm going to need help with in the future. It's freed me from some shackles that I have been chained by. Me, I don't particularly think I'm very creative, and I don't think I'm a trailblazer either. For me, I think I'm very much a builder. And I've always tried to fit in the trailblazer box. Like, why are my ideas not good enough? Why am I not popping off or going viral? And for years, I've wanted to be likable. I've wanted to be intuitive. I've wanted to be creative. But guess what? I'm a freaking builder. Consistency is my weapon. I am somebody who is able to stick with 200 plus podcast episodes with ease. For me, sitting down and filming these videos is easy because I'm able to integrate it into my routine. And the second that I realized that, the second I started to have confidence and own who I am, it's okay that I'm not everything. We're not supposed to be everything. And I kind of eased up a little bit. I stopped trying to fit in all these different boxes and I just owned the box that I was in. And if you're in business, if you're a creator, whatever you are doing, you can't be everything. Nobody is everything. Nobody is all parts of their business. You have to own the parts that you own and be like, yeah, I'm not the creative trailblazer. I need to hire for that. That is literally why creative director roles exist. And it's why CEOs are another role completely, because one is not the other. I think an excellent case study for this is the incredible Aimee Smiley. Before we start, this is not criticism. This is not gossip. This is not judgment. This is admiration. I love and admire Odd Muse and what Aimee has built. But this is just some amateur observations from one business baddie to another. And what I also think is it's a lesson. It's a lesson that every entrepreneur needs to hear. Aimee is one of the strongest storytellers in the online space. She is emotional, she is raw, she is relatable, she is creative. Her content hits people in the heart, it hits people in the feels. She has built a brand and a multi-million pound brand based on feeling, connection, community. How incredible is that? And she's done it better than anyone else in her category, in my opinion. Here is the problem. And Aimee has been super vocal about this. Her business, in her own words, is ruining her. Odd Muse, it has grown so much. Aimee has moved to NYC, but she's not able to enjoy her life anymore. She works all the time. She is a slave to her own damn business. The problem Aimee is having is she is now running a visionary, a builder size business as a pure storyteller, trying to do all three archetypes. And I'm sure she's not alone. I'm 100% certain Aimee has a team, but as the leader, the head of that team, she is trying to be all three as one person. And you can see the stress spilling out very, very publicly, because that's part of her charm. That's part of who she is. She shows the hard, messy parts. Storytellers, they need two things to scale at the level that Aimee is at. They need a visionary to set direction, to set innovation, and to set long-term strategy. A visionary can help her map out her goals, her dreams, and give her space to be creative, whilst also using their creative genius to take the brand to the next level. But what she also needs a CEO. She needs a builder to operationalize everything. Storytellers are not supposed to carry the entire back end of their business alone, and I'm sure Aimee isn't. But the planning, the systems, the deliveries, the launches, the hiring, the team, the consistency, the brand arc, the pressure, this is where builders thrive. Running a multi-million pound business or even a six-figure business is not meant to be done by intuition and story alone. And that is why Aimee is very, very publicly, very, very openly overwhelmed in her own words. It's not because she's doing anything wrong, because she's doing everything alone, or shouldering at least everything alone. Steve Jobs, one of the biggest visionaries of our time, and an excellent storyteller, may I add, he did not build Apple alone. He had Steve Wozniak as his builder. Walt Disney, another brilliant visionary, had Roy Disney, his brother, as his builder. You might be like, Kayleigh, I'm a solopreneur, I'm just a solo creator, I don't have the means to have a team. You don't need that either. Point of knowing your archetype is to know your strengths, to know your weaknesses, and to know you don't have to be all three. Aimee built an amazing, successful, multi-million pound business just being one archetype. If that's possible for her, it's possible for you too. Your archetype simply tells you how to create and what you might need to tap into a little bit more in 2026. But your business one day might require the skills and the areas of genius from other archetypes. You will hit a glass ceiling operating from just one. And there comes a time where every big ass business needs to hire a CFO, needs to hire a CEO, needs to hire a COO, because those people, that's their zone of genius. So if you are a solopreneur right now, I am going to tell you to lean into your damn archetype. That is your weapon. That is your super damn power. Stop trying to be the others, because who you are alone will get you 6-7 figure mark. What I hope that this video has shown you is that who you are and what you are is enough and is a freaking superpower. The day that I stopped trying to be a visionary and focused on who I am and what I'm good at and learning to love that part of myself, I ended up being more comfortable, being more confident, and earning more money because I stopped wasting time trying to be everyone else and just was who I am. Stopped trying to be the super cinematic, like, trust me guys, if you go back to my last vlogs, I'm gonna leave them up so you guys can see. I wanted to be the super cinematic, vloggy, groundbreaking creator, but I'm a builder. Learning to dominate, learning to truly be a builder, it's brought me here to you guys, sharing my little buildy gifts with the world. Okay, how was the folklore era? Please leave me a comment below and let me know what your archetype was and just how you found this video. You guys know. Comments are my love language. If you learned something, if you enjoyed it, if you want to see more, I would encourage you guys to hit the subscribe button down below and join our little family, our little community over here. Honestly, I did not realize this about YouTube, but the comments are so wholesome. I saw these two people here. I'll leave a little screen grab right here. These two people were just having a whole entire conversation in a little comment thread in my comment section, and I was just like, I didn't know how to process that. Just a little PSA, by the way, this is the last time you're gonna see this setup, because I wish I could pan around and show you this room, but I am in the middle of moving house. So I am in the middle of a giant, well, it's not that giant, I'm only moving literally 2 doors down the road, but in the middle of a house move. So that is why my little, where's my Shiba Inu statue gone? But next week you will see a different setup, and I'm hoping it will be equally as cozy and cute, but maybe a little bit less noisy, because you guys have no idea how many sirens I have to edit out of this. With that said, I am so sad. We only have 3 more eras left. Evermore, Midnights, and the Tortured Poets department. But don't worry, behind the scenes, I'm concepting so much more fun for next year. I have like a new kind of semi-series idea that I want to do based on celebrities and brand building. But anyway, please leave me a comment below if you haven't already as well, and let me know what you think the theme of Evermore is going to be. I want to hear your guesses. But thank you all again for watching. Thank you Zero for partnering on this video with me, and I will catch you guys next Friday with another one. Bye guys.